Greenfield, a town bathed in sunshine and draped in lush greenery, was the epitome of idyllic living. Its quaint houses, manicured lawns, and friendly faces painted a picture of peaceful coexistence. Children played freely in parks, their laughter echoing through the quiet streets. It was a place where everyone knew their neighbor, and doors were often left unlocked. The rhythm of life was slow and predictable, lulled by the gentle sway of trees and the warmth of the community. Greenfield was, in many ways, a nostalgic throwback to a simpler time, a place where life's complexities seemed to fade away. Beneath the surface of this idyllic town, however, lurked a dark secret, a truth so horrifying that it threatened to shatter the very foundation of their peaceful existence. A secret society, operating under the veil of normalcy, was engaged in unspeakable acts, preying on the innocence of children. Their insidious network, deeply embedded within the community, had remained undetected for years. The perpetrators, hiding in plain sight, were respected members of society, teachers, businessmen, even law enforcement officials, who used their positions of power to exploit the vulnerable. Their crimes, shrouded in secrecy and fear, cast a long shadow over Greenfield, turning the idyllic town into a breeding ground for unimaginable horrors. The discovery of this heinous operation sent shockwaves through the community, shaking the residents to their core. The very thought that such darkness could fester in their midst was unfathomable. Trust was shattered, replaced by suspicion and fear. Parents, once carefree, now looked upon their neighbors with uncertainty, their hearts heavy with the realization that monsters could lurk behind the most unassuming facades. The once vibrant laughter of children was replaced with an unsettling silence, a stark reminder of the innocence that had been stolen. Greenfield, once a symbol of hope and tranquility, now bore the weight of 1,000 unspoken fears. The unveiling of the pedophile ring sent ripples of shock and disbelief far beyond the town's borders. Newspapers ran headlines detailing the horrific crimes, and television screens flickered with images of a community grappling with the unthinkable. The world watched in horror as the idyllic facade of Greenfield crumbled, exposing the raw underbelly of human depravity. The case served as a chilling reminder that evil could flourish anywhere, even in the most unsuspecting of places, and that no community was immune to the insidious reach of child exploitation. The story of Greenfield became a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the vulnerability of innocence and the importance of vigilance in a world where darkness often lurked beneath the surface. Rumors had circulated for years, whispers of unusual activities and late-night gatherings at an abandoned farmhouse on the outskirts of town. The old structure, with its creaking floorboards and broken windows, stood as a silent witness to the secrets it harbored. The moonlight cast eerie shadows, adding to the air of mystery that surrounded the place. These whispers, however, were often dismissed, brushed aside as mere gossip by a community that refused to believe that such darkness could permeate their peaceful existence. The townsfolk, with their daily routines and simple pleasures, found it easier to ignore the unsettling rumors than to confront the possibility of evil lurking in their midst. Parents, clinging to the belief that their children were safe within the confines of their close-knit community, turned a blind eye to the subtle signs, the red flags that hindsight would reveal with painful clarity. They trusted their neighbors, their friends, and the familiar faces they saw every day, never imagining that danger could be so close to home. The fear of disrupting the town's harmony, of being ostracized for speaking out against respected members of society, kept many silent, allowing the abuse to continue unchecked. The social fabric of Greenfield was tightly woven, and anyone who dared to pull at the threads risked unraveling the entire community. The truth, however, had a way of revealing itself, no matter how deeply buried. A chance encounter, a child's innocent disclosure, a carelessly discarded piece of evidence, these seemingly insignificant details would prove to be the unraveling threads of a meticulously woven tapestry of deceit. It was as if the universe itself conspired to bring the hidden horrors to light. A local librarian, known for her sharp wit and observant nature, noticed an unusual pattern of book borrowing. A series of titles dealing with child psychology and abuse being checked out with alarming regularity by the same group of men. Her curiosity piqued. She began to keep a closer eye on these individuals, noting their behavior and interactions. A concerned teacher, troubled by the withdrawn behavior of one of her brightest students, decided to dig deeper, uncovering a network of online communication that chilled her to the bone. The messages she found were filled with coded language and disturbing references, hinting at a dark underworld that thrived in the shadows. These seemingly unrelated incidents, driven by a shared sense of unease and a fierce determination to protect the town's children, converged to expose the horrifying truth. The librarian and the teacher, along with a few other concerned citizens, formed a quiet alliance, sharing their findings and piecing together the puzzle. The whispers, once ignored, now echoed with the weight of undeniable evidence, shattering the illusion of normalcy that had cloaked Greenfield for so long. The town's serene facade crumbled as the reality of the situation became impossible to deny. The community was forced to confront the darkness that had festered in their midst. The investigation, once it began, moved with a swiftness that belied the years of complicit silence. Arrests were made, houses were raided, and the true extent of the depravity was laid bare for all to see. Law enforcement officers, some of whom had grown up in Greenfield, were shocked by the revelations, but they pressed on, determined to bring justice to the victims. The evidence, overwhelming and irrefutable, painted a grim picture of systematic abuse, a carefully orchestrated network of exploitation that extended far beyond the borders of their once peaceful town. The perpetrators had used their positions of trust and authority to manipulate and control their victims, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. The impact on the families involved was immediate and devastating. Parents grappled with a maelstrom of emotions: guilt, anger, disbelief, and a profound sense of betrayal. They questioned their own judgment, wondering how they could have missed the signs and allowed such horrors to unfold under their noses. The very foundation of their lives, the belief that they could protect their children from harm, had been ripped away, leaving them reeling in a sea of uncertainty and fear. The sense of security they had taken for granted was shattered, replaced by a pervasive sense of vulnerability. The victims, their innocence stolen, faced an arduous journey of healing, their childhoods forever marred by the trauma inflicted upon them. The road to recovery would be long and fraught with challenges, as they struggled to rebuild their lives and find a sense of normalcy. The close-knit community, once a source of strength and support, now seemed to buckle under the weight of shared grief and anger. The bonds that had held them together were strained as neighbors turned on each other, seeking someone to blame for the tragedy that had befallen them. The road to recovery would be long and arduous, fraught with emotional landmines and the daunting task of rebuilding trust. The community would need to come together, to support each other, and to find a way to heal the deep wounds that had been inflicted. It would be a slow process, but with time and effort, they hoped to reclaim the peace and harmony that had once defined their town.